Hey there, TJ here with Technological Gadgets, bringing you the best in tech and making it work for you. On this channel, we usually do tech reviews, but sometimes we check out other sort of tech setups, and this video in particular is going to be dedicated to RandomFrankP, one of my favorite YouTube tech creators, and it's going to be his 2022 updated version of his gaming setup and sort of like his whole entire studio tour. So if you like these types of videos, make sure to drop me a like to let me know, and comment down below whose other setups you'd like me to check out next, and I'll be sure to do so. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to help support me and what I do, completely for free. But without further ado, let's get just right into the video.
What's up, guys? I'm RandomFrankP.
Hey yo, what's up,
today,
man?
We'll be showing off my gaming setup and studio tour for 2022.
Looks cool though.
Alright, so we are back with the yearly tradition of showing off my gaming setup and my YouTube studio tour, which is how the channel started, by the way, doing these setups. And typically, I have these videos out the first week of the year. However, as you can tell, it's a bit later now, right? It's summertime.
Yeah.
But that means we'll be showcasing all the changes and upgrades I've made from the last 18 plus months or so. So there's a lot to go over for you guys.
A year and a half, I would say.
Sit tight. I'll drop everything you see in the description down below. If I miss something, let me know. But I'll try my best to have all the gear and hardware listed for you guys in the description. But yeah, a bunch to show off for you guys today. Literally behind the camera, my actual gaming setup behind me, the entertainment setup over here as well. So tons,
I guess same thing as like
to show off. You guys,
you're a rich consumer, the whole entire basement.
Fancy B-roll as well as like a vlog style to make it more personal for you guys today. Hope you're pumped. Let's start it off.
Oh, kind of different vlog style.
So, kicking this one off.
He's a one-man setup, if I'm not mistaken, so it will be kind of different for him.
Like I said, gonna be a bit of a longer one. There's a lot to go over, so sit tight. Gonna break it up though into a few different parts. So first, we're gonna talk about the main filming setup, where you see me do all of my A-roll, filming B-roll and stuff. The way I had this set up for when I do those different overhead top shots. So a lot to cover here. We're gonna cover all of that, including the camera gear, filming gear. You'll see then second, we'll talk about the more minimal setup that's behind the camera. This just, a more minimal gaming setup, but also acting as a set for when I'm doing like reviews and stuff. Just a nice secondary space for getting some filming done,
to change it up.
That's the main thing. With the YouTube studio, not only is everything acting as a functional space, but it's also a spot for filming. So it's broken up into different sets as well for when I'm filming reviews. Third, then we'll talk about the entertainment setup, which not only, again, which is a functional entertainment setup, but also acts as a filming set. And then we'll cover some of the more in-between stuff you see around the room. Then we'll wrap it up here with the main gaming setup. This is where I am 99% of the time for PC gaming, all of my editing. This is the main setup that powers the channel.
Kind of weird how it's a bit offset.
A bunch to go over, as you can see. Man, hope you're ready.
Yep, I am.
So, just starting this one off, like I said here, with the main desk. This is from Office, and it's the Sway desk. I recently got this in as an upgrade. It's 72 inches by 30 inches, so definitely a long and wide desk. It has this really nice walnut finish. And the main thing is with this, and it helps a lot again with filming, is since it is height adjustable, it's super quiet and nice and fast as well, which is great. And the main reason why I wanted a sit-stand desk over here, because again, for filming, instead of constantly adjusting the camera and the tripod all the time, say I want to get, different shots and different angles, different verticality, I could just move the desk with the product instead of the camera and the tripod to get that different elevation and different angles, which is why I also wanted a nice wide desk as well. It's going to give me a lot of flexibility. Also has a drawer and stuff, which is great for, storing things, accessories, and everything. But in terms of just functionality, this desk is great. I'll have a link for you in the description down below, as well as everything we talk about today. I think you can save like 75 bucks with the link. So yeah, check it all out down below. And as you notice, this is a nice walnut finish, but this isn't usually the desktop you see. I have a bunch of different, overhead shot like overlays that I'll put on the desktop itself.
Ooh, okay.
From different actual wooden desktop surfaces, and some like the D brand like vinyl surfaces that I have, just to get some variety, for that fancy overhead B-roll shot, just to make it look more interesting and more entertaining to you guys. Now, another thing I did want to point out, and it's
add a bit more texture to the background,
desk, but it's this Spotify car thing, and it's pretty much its own dedicated like Spotify media player.
Ooh,
so it is a
especially if you use Spotify.
Functional little device.
I use Tidal,
all my
so
music and everything from here, from playlists, volume on the fly. It's touchscreen as well, and this obviously isn't a part of the Office desk. I just have it here conveniently right next to the touchscreen slider. And since this is where I'm filming most of the time, I have it here because I have it then through Bluetooth hooked up to the speakers behind me at my main setup. So when I am filming, I can blast music around the studio, and it's all just, my Spotify song. So all controllable right here. I don't have to constantly be on my phone or go over to my setup and adjust anything for Spotify or music. Definitely a pretty cool little device. I haven't done a full review on it, but I have this in a video. But yeah, it's a cool little gadget that I have here to keep me motivated and going when I'm filming and stuff. Right, moving up next, we're gonna talk about the video gear, because right as the overhead, I have this massive Minimax, it's called. It is essentially a giant heavy-duty boom arm. Lets me do a lot of things like, mounting overhead cameras and a lot of gear and stuff up here I can rig up. So I do have the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K camera. I do use this a lot for when I'm getting those like wide overhead shots for like unboxings and stuff. And I also have a wireless HDMI transmitter so I could see what I'm actually filming.
Oh, that's actually really nice.
Connected to that, I also have 2 microphones. You're probably wondering, why do I have 2 here? So my main mic is the Sennheiser MKH416, I believe it's called, which is my main microphone that I use for pretty much everything, which I have then fed into the new Zoom F3 field recorder. This thing is insanely powerful for audio. It is crazy, it's super compact, but it's an external audio recorder. And for my entire time, doing YouTube, until I got this in March, I've always just had my microphone being fed into my Blackmagic camera. And I'd always just use the onboard preamps in the camera. And
yeah, it's not usually that good.
For the last 6-7+ years,
usually it's not very good.
Okay. But now with the Zoom F3, it's got like 32-bit float. It just gives me so much more flexibility when it comes to my audio and making it sound so much better. So the reason why I have a second microphone up here is because in case I ever forget to actually hit record on the actual F3, I would then have like a failsafe pretty much, because this mic,
that's actually kind of smart though.
$30 some Behringer cheap XLR mic. So I have that here being fed into the camera, which is then acting like a scratch track. But again, if I do ever forget to actually hit record on the F3, then that would save me from having an entire video that I filmed without any audio. So this is a $30 failsafe pretty much, definitely worth it. But yeah, that's the main audio upgrade.
The Behringer C2, yeah.
I still have the Aperture 120D Mark II.
Actually thinking of getting that mic, to be honest.
Like the main light fill, which I have mounted on a C-stand with an overhead falconized light panel, which just helps me just fill the desk for when I'm doing overhead shots. And then behind me is a hair light from Elgato. It's the Elgato key light. So different, lighting components and stuff. Not all of them are even the same brand, kind of scattered. But yeah, gotta do what you gotta do.
If it works, it works.
The lighting nice and right. Now, for my main camera, this is the Blackmagic Ursa Mini 4.6K. This is a camera that gets about 95% of the footage that you've seen on the channel. I've had this for a while now, and before that, dating back to 2015, I had the original Ursa Mini. This is the upgraded 4.6K.
Hey, he's filming on Blackmagic.
This is what you see pretty much for everything on the channel. And when I am doing my talking headshots so I can actually see myself, I have a Lilliput monitor mounted up top so I can see, what I'm actually filming if I'm in focus.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, that is the main gear for all my YouTube stuff, A-roll, B-roll. And like I said, if I did miss anything, let me know. But like, I'll put some of the more like detailed, boring stuff, like the tripod head, the legs, all that in the description as well, because I can't, cover every single
That's
thing.
Quite nice, quite a nice setup.
Check the description for you guys. I'll try my best to have it all down there for you. Now moving on over to the secondary setup. This is definitely what changed probably the most over the last year. This whole space was a lot more crowded, so I kind of cleaned it up a bit, took some things out to make it a more minimal setup. So you can see I moved that big shelf that I had over here away, and it's just more of a chill spot, I'd say. And some of the changes that I made for the actual hardware is a full Govee glide sort of light ring sort of thing, you know, kind of going
that looks
around the
nice.
setup. Makes it look cool, gives it a nice little like accented piece to make the setup pop. And for the actual gear and hardware, my monitor is the Corsair Xeneon. It is the it's a 32-inch, 165 hertz monitor. Definitely looks great for console gaming, PC gaming. This is one of the newer upgrades I've made, since this is a spot where I tend to film a lot of my monitor reviews since I have the space here. So the monitor pretty much changes constantly here. But this is what I have now in rotation. Kind of going right along now, since we're talking Corsair, with the new PC. This is the Corsair One i300 as my main PC for this setup. Super small and compact, but also crazy powerful as well.
I guess good for testing out, you know, different monitors.
With an RTX 3080 Ti inside. So I recently got these both in to add to the more minimal setup. And just with everything,
good for testing monitors as well.
Nice. And
peripherals and whatnot.
Also some new additions, including the brand new SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro headset. I just reviewed these on the channel. These are my wireless headset that I use. But also for audio, in addition to that, I have the Vanatu Transparent One Encore speakers. These I've had for a while over here. They're absolutely fantastic. So I have both of them on stands, so they're mounted on each side at ear level. And it pretty much gives me 3 different choices when it comes to audio at the setup, because I can use the crazy good speakers, I could use the wireless headset, or I could use one of my favorite cans of all time, the Sennheiser HD800S.
Oh, these are expensive,
which I have here as well. So just a bunch of flexibility when it comes to, you know, actually sitting down, testing products, and filming over here at this secondary setup. And powering these Sennheisers is from JDS Labs, their own L-Amp and L-DAC. Now, for my main peripherals, over here I have the Logitech Enshroud G303. Been rocking this since release over at this setup. I know
this is a really good mouse.
I'm trying to fix that in post. The mouse pad is our Novel Keys and RandomFrankP topographic desk pad, and
looks
the
nice.
GMK Pro from Glorious. Again, all sort of fitting to like a nice midnight green. Sort
of
it's
like
just to keep
really
it
nice setup.
And minimal. Oh yeah, before I forget, no one gonna see questions about it. The actual monitor riser here and desktop shelf is from Artifox. This is just gives you some nice extra storage and stuff, as you can see, and elevates the monitor nicely. And so is that shelf that I have over here on the wall, also from Artifox. So that's why I wanted to get a more, you know, clean and minimal approach and stuff on this side of the room. I think it gives me the space, you know, to get that extra spot for filming, which is the entire reason, you know, this part of the studio exists. And you've also seen this portion over here in some videos. This is usually where I do like a lot of my PC builds, since it's just a large, wide desk. So I'll have like the hardware and stuff on there and do the actual filming of the PC build on this sort of just spot with the fake brick behind it. And I have these paper rolls, pretty much again just for, you know, getting overhead shots if I want to add some color.
So dedicated overhead.
I did a vlog on this, making that faux brick wall a while ago, 3 years ago at this point.
Setup.
So yeah. This is the whole functional, more minimal secondary filming side of the studio. That's definitely a lot more clean than it was in years past. Now, before we go over here, since we're just on this side of the room real quick, there's a lot of little things, as you can see, including the ridiculous like keyboard building station and section that I have.
That looks cool though.
I got like key switches, you know, mounted
it looks
up on
cool
the
though.
wall. On the IKEA Scottish pegboard, I have other switches, cables, just, you know, things that I'm gonna need a little accessory for when it comes to when I'm doing all those custom keyboard builds. Try to make it nice and, you know, aesthetically pleasing, even though it's kind of getting overcrowded now. And again, a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, I've done videos on or showed off in some capacity, but as a keyboard station, this is the prep deck, and it's pretty much made to be like a kitchen organizer for when you're cooking, but I repurposed it for, you know, keyboard parts, so different springs, switch
that's actually pretty smart though.
Actual switches, lube, different keyboard stuff, you know, clippers, brushes, all that stuff. Got some foam down here. So a nice little organization piece for keyboard building. And this entire cabinet unit, I don't remember the name, it is from IKEA though. And down here is where I have stored all like my keycap sets that I currently either have on a build or I'm saving for upcoming builds and stuff. So I have them down here in this shelving unit. Also, as you can see, a bunch of like accessories, soldering tools, desoldering, keyboard boxes, all that. And this is little like sort of mini sticker bomb section, like companies that I've got.
Oh, it reminds me of like high school lockers, to be honest.
Give you little stickers. I have them all here. But yeah, this is the keyboard building section, right? I guess you can call it that. I don't know. Again, I don't remember the actual name of this unit here, but it was from IKEA, and it just works for storing everything pretty nicely. Then on this shelf, I have some boards that are in the queue to get built, because you guys know how it is for keycap sets. They're years away, they're delayed, that whole story. So these are keyboards that I have that I'm gonna be building soon whenever keycaps come in. And then yes, this is like a little wardrobe holder that I have for hanging different mouse pads and stuff on. So again, for when I'm like filming overhead stuff or just matching them with different keyboard builds, have them all here. You've seen this before. This is nothing new on this side, but this idea was from Omnitype, I believe. Shout out to them. Just holds all my mouse pads, more mouse pads on the bottom that I can't mount. Yeah, that's that. All right, so lastly, on the side of the room, before we move on, we could talk about, you've probably seen this crazy looking big logo thing. And one of the newer additions, I think it's dope. These are from Nanoleaf, and you're familiar with Nanoleaf.
Yeah.
These are called the Nanoleaf lines, and it's the same company that obviously makes the Aurora light panels that I have mounted above. You're familiar with these. This is supposed to be, you can kind of see it's my logo, but like, in a 3D type of way. And it was coming out great. I still think it looks pretty cool. But since we're in the basement and we have the HVAC unit over in that room and it's like running all up in the ceiling here, on this side, it's a bit smaller in terms of ceiling height. So what happened was I had to kind of cut off the bottom of the P, or else it would have looked really cool when it was all built up, if it would have been done properly. I think the whole 3D look, like the geometric 3D design to the RFP logo, looks pretty cool. Again, if you haven't ever actually seen it, you got the R, the F in negative space, and then the P, the RFP logo. It's the way I designed it. So if I would have had like 2 feet more, I could have fully extended the bottom of the P down. Would have looked really dope.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think it looks pretty cool. It helps fill just the otherwise, you know, blank wall. Again, gives some extra lighting and stuff for when I'm filming over at the setup. And adds a nice extra dimension, right? But these lights, the Nanoleaf lines, are crazy bright. There's a bunch of different effects. You can configure them however you want, make all these different designs. I love these, picked these up recently. Definitely think it completes this wall as well as this just portion of the room. So now, moving on to the entertainment setup.
The TV setup?
This portion is probably changed the most over the last year and a half altogether. Like in my studio, the most upgrades have come over here. This was like all bare, like there was nothing over here. So to make it more lively, you know, I built it up, put some shelves and stuff, just to complete the entertainment setup space. And if you remember, I had this all like boxed off, like the sofa was over on this side. I had this little small table behind it, and it was really just boxed in. And I didn't like it.
More open concept, I guess.
A lot of stuff and made it more open, including the LG C1 77-inch TV. It is a beautiful 77-inch OLED. I did an entire review on this last year. I have everything hooked up to an entertainment center with, you know, like the Xbox One, Series X, the PS5, including an original Xbox, which I'll show you coming up in a minute. But yeah, just loving how the new space came out. I think it's transformed a lot. And like I said, just some of the better upgrades I've made to the studio is over in this spot, including this chair. It's called the Womb, okay? It is super, super comfortable. It's like when I sit down at the end of the day, kick back, get some console gaming done. It's just a dream to sit in. So comfortable, super ergonomic. It's got a little footrest as well. So like I said, really wanted to make this more minimal, more open, more inviting and stuff. Have like remotes over here, controllers. And then on this wall, I took down those old prints that I had because it's not really like my style anymore. But I picked up this from Poland. This is a sound diffuser. And again, I think it just fits in with the overall.
Yeah, it looks nice though.
How it all designed with my aesthetic.
And the size fits the sofa though, like on top.
This is gonna be, you know, but I think on the wall it looks fantastic, beautifully handmade. I'll put the Etsy shop down below. But yeah, got this hung up, picked it up recently. Think it looks great. We'll cover more of the setup in a minute, but first up, one of the new additions is also a little mini fridge that I have filled with 3D energy drinks. Shout out to them.
Ooh.
They're not a sponsor. I wish they were, but I am hooked. Definitely one of the best tasting and I would say healthiest energy drinks out there.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
Yeah, love these. My go-to is the
Like
lemon.
he has a fridge
Again,
there.
not a sponsor. Totally wish they were though. But hey, if anyone's watching this from 3D, love your stuff. So yeah, all right, back to the actual TV and all that stuff going on. So behind the TV, I have an RGB light strip, which is just set to like white right now. And then on each side, as you can see from Govee, I have these light bars called the Lyra or the Lyra. You know the routine with, RGB light bars. Obviously, it can be full RGB, a bunch of different effects. Right now, I have them sort of like a tealish color to kind of fit in with the whole setup. But you can make them white like I have here. But the reason why I have it all static right now is because behind the TV, one of the things I also picked up to complement the gaming stuff over here is an RGB bias like HDMI box from LightMe, I believe they're called.
Ooh.
So what this does is whatever HDMI source you have hooked up to it, it will portray that lighting, sort of extend it behind the TV onto the wall and look really cool. I've showed a bunch of different versions of this stuff off in the past. Last year I had one from Govee as well, but I had a camera. This is all HDMI reliant. So whatever you have hooked up to the HDMI box, it will show behind the TV, give it a nice soft glow, and just look really, really cool. This is also super bright. Like the RGB effect on here is insane, but I think that's just too much. I keep it just to the bias lighting pretty much, and I think it looks awesome. Then for the entertainment center itself, I don't remember the exact name. I got it off of Wayfair a while back, but definitely a nice, little accent piece here as well. Like I said before, the Xbox One Series X, conveniently, spaced over here in this little nook.
Yeah.
Perfect fit that they have cut out for it. Got the PS5 right next to it, the D brand dark plates,
and a slanted
black consoles with like the wooden,
like that
entertainment center. And I do have a Samsung soundbar up top. Get some nice, gaming audio going on, nice and loud, immersive. Soundbar underneath
subwoofer down there as well.
For that extra bass hit. One of my more favorite upgrades and additions that I made is this original Xbox. And as you can see, it's probably not what you're used to seeing when it comes to an original Xbox. It's got these red lights in it, and it's a Japan exclusive. It's the skeleton shell. But with it being modded, it's got a 2 terabyte hard drive inside, built-in HDMI, which is what lets me, actually play this here on the TV, so I can, play on the 4K TV instead of just using the old cables and stuff. And I can literally play like every game. Every single Xbox game is on here with the 2 terabytes.
I guess it's an Xbox guy.
Not only just the original Xbox titles, but PS1, N64, Game Boy. It is a retro dream. I've probably gamed more on this in the last 6 months, I'd say, than I have on current gen consoles combined.
Wow.
This has been an absolutely awesome pickup that I got from eBay. I think it was like $500 or $600, so definitely expensive, but I've definitely got that soft spot for retro gaming and all the nostalgia. And I also have a USB transmitter in the back, it's a little USB stick that lets me use an original Xbox One controller with the modern Xbox. I don't have to use the old, the wired ones that were bigger and clunky. I could use an Xbox One controller wirelessly with here, kick back in the womb chair and get some OG gaming done, playing some Tony Hawk Underground, some Lone Wolf, some Dave Mirra's BMX, all the good old original Xbox titles that I just miss, but some of them don't hold up. But that's the fun of revisiting and playing a lot of them on here.
Yep.
And then speaking of nostalgia and some stuff, like I said, over here I do have this shelving unit, which used to be over on the minimal side of the setup, but just some things on display, make it more homey, have it broken up, some of my favorite things, like some of my Eagle stuff, collectibles, signed balls, helmets.
That's nice.
Super Bowl collectibles, things like that.
Yeah, he likes Super Bowl.
And then underneath there, I have a lot of my sealed Pokemon collection.
Pokemon.
PSA 10 sealed booster packs, the original Tomy figures that I have still sealed to go along with the packs, Japan exclusive, the Game Boy games, just a lot of figures and stuff that I loved as a kid. Cool stuff like that, including then underneath that again N64,
Collectible
N64
stuff.
games still in the box. The other original Xbox, which is the again, I think this is the skeleton of the one with Ghost. Or this
the Ghost, the clear one, right?
Transparent shell here.
Yep.
a PS1, but yeah, I just wanted to, build this section up so it wasn't so blank and just barren over here. And
Yeah, it looks cool though.
Secluding the entertainment center. So now it all feels complete. But now for the main setup, there is a lot to go over.
It's kind of weird how it's like off-centered in my opinion.
So where do we even begin? I guess we'll start off with the actual desktop itself. This is a 98-inch live acacia wooden countertop. And this is an upgrade from the old IKEA desktop that I had, for years, which I now have on the other side of the studio.
Oh,
again, that was
okay,
fine,
repurposing
the
it.
actual composite material was pretty thin. This though, solid butcher block, and it looks great as well. Love that natural finish to it and how it looks. I have the desktop then on the IKEA Alex drawers on each side. You know the routine with this. And then I have them on these little furniture riser legs. So it's, you get that extra elevation and stuff when you're sitting there. But that's not new. This has been my desk for 2 years now or so. Most of the newer stuff comes in terms of the peripherals. We'll go over it all. The bottom two monitors are two of the LG Ultra Gear 34-inch monitors. They're 165 hertz, 3440, 1440p. Really dig the LG Ultra Gear ultra wide monitors. I've been rocking these two on the bottom for a while with a 34-inch AOC monitor as the overhead monitor. And I always see questions whenever I do these setup videos is people always ask why I have a bezel in the middle. But as I say every year, it's not that hard for you guys to digest the fact that I have a chair, and a chair lets me sit in front of any monitor or wherever I want at the desk setup. So I always sit and I have the right monitor acting as my primary display.
But it's kind of weird, it's offset though, in my opinion.
Where I'm sitting here on the left side, I can have when I'm editing and stuff, my files, all the bins, vector scopes, that kind of stuff. And then on the top AOC monitor, we have things like Twitter, Spotify, whatever, just a bunch of screen real estate. And again, I don't just sit in front of the bezel. I don't stare at that all day. I could move around. Now, I'm not too sure what the actual monitor mounts are called. They're like $15 from Amazon. Same thing with the speaker mounts up top. And like I also just said, I get a lot of questions about these. These are not made for me to be monitoring audio when I'm here at my setup. People always say, oh, RandomFrankP, they're way too high. It's wrong. And I agree. But like I showed you, I have these here specifically for when I'm filming over in the studio, hooked up to the Spotify car thing, and I can just have music playing around while I'm filming. But these are also on some cheap monitor or actual speaker mounts, and the speakers themselves are the Cantu YU5. So everything mounted nicely, give it that nice seamless sort of floating appearance here. But yeah, behind the monitors is where all the crazy cable management's going on. But you don't see all that hanging down, and that's what matters most. Oh, and the chair, by the way, before I forget, is the Herman Miller M-Body. I've had this since 2016. Super comfortable, definitely expensive, but again, for those long gaming or editing sessions, yes, an expensive ergonomic office chair is definitely worth it.
Yep.
But now we can dive
into
my main peripherals that I'm using over here. For my keyboard, I have been using this for a bit. It is a SteelSeries Apex Pro TKL with their OmniPoint switches.
I want to get one of these.
I do have these Deep Forest, sort of like midnight green keycaps from Taihao on there. I get questions about them all the time. I can't find them anywhere either, but that's what I have on here with a color matching resin and wooden wrist rest, again, to match the whole aesthetic. And then for my mouse, this is one of the newer upgrades. It is the new Razer Viper Pro. Yeah, I gave it some shit in my review, but seeing the fact that I've used the Viper Ultimate since release in 2019, this new
lighter version
is lighter, technically faster on paper as well. So this has been my upgrade here. I also have this iridescent emerald green spray paint on left and right clicks. Again, just to make it all match. Definitely think it looks pretty cool. For my audio, this is actually all pretty new. My main headphones of choice are now the Bear Dynamic DT900 Pro X. They're open back. They sound fantastic. They're super comfortable. I love these. They are just a dream pair of headphones. And they are so much less expensive and way more affordable than the Sennheiser HD800s that I showed you guys over on the minimal setup. But yes, love these. For my microphone, this is the
I guess everybody have their own preference.
I pretty much use this just for like streams and stuff. I don't do any like voiceover work on this, mainly just for live streaming. And that gets fed into the Beacon Mix, which is a physical mixer pretty much, where I have, I can go in when I'm streaming, configure all the knobs to be certain things like Discord, Spotify, chat.
Yeah, since he's not using a dual setup, the Beacon Mix is okay.
So much easier.
But if not, the Beacon Mix Create, I think it's much better.
Of the Beacon mic and mixer, they got some really great stuff, and they kind of came out of nowhere recently. So I've been loving them. They even have this like super crazy powerful software where you can configure stuff even more. The mic is crazy adjustable in terms of like
I'll say the software is insane.
Get the best out of it, so it sounds the best.
Hardware maybe not as much, but the software is
controls in the software. So they got some crazy stuff from Beacon. Shout out to them. And then speaking of streaming, two little hidden additions I have is this little magnetic mount where I put an Elgato Keylight Mini. This just goes here to sort of like fill the shadows while I'm streaming, just, so I appear brighter. And then over in the middle of my monitors, I have mounted like a mini vlogging tripod that I can just pull out, mount my Sony ZV-1, which acts as my webcam. And then when I'm not streaming, it folds back up, all goes back into place and stays hidden. So two little hidden sort of streaming additions I have here.
I guess
the
quite
last two
cool.
things to touch on, my actual amp and DAC for my Bare Dynamic headphones.
In my opinion, a bit of a hassle to set up, but looks cool though.
So two little hidden sort of streaming additions I have here. And the last two things to touch on, my actual amp and DAC for my Bare Dynamic headphones is the Grace Design M9XX. Has the nice volume dial at the top, so I can just quickly and easily, adjust volume. And then my mouse pad is the Razer Strider. It is a really nice hybrid surface, so it's the best of like speed and control. Have it extended here, so nice and large, just a fantastic mouse pad. I've been using it for a year now, and it still looks and feels brand new. So definitely digging these. Some other little things over on the left side of my desk, like I got this Tommen's wooden desk lamp just to fit in aesthetically. Again, it looks really nice, I think. And some other desktop accents like this topographic PS5 controller I had made from Colorware, along with a matching notepad and stuff, just to have here, like I said, fits in with the whole desk sort of setup. Now, as you can see, one of the new changes I made, in addition to these light panels that I have on the ceiling, which helps just sort of, light the desktop when I'm doing overhead shots and stuff when I'm filming, I have these two RGB light bars mounted on each side of my setup. And the main purpose of this is, again, to sort of like fill that wall space to give it some extras, just, I don't know, pop and glow for when I am filming, because now it looks better in terms of symmetry. So when you are seeing me when I'm doing like my talking A-roll stuff when I'm filming, when you see it, behind me, it just looks better. So it's more symmetrical. I think it looks cooler that way. I don't know. But yeah, those are just the light bars that I have mounted up on the wall, and I can control them wirelessly. Now, over to the brand new PC. This is completely new. I upgraded this in January of last year, and before that, I've had the Fantex PC since 2019. So the case here is the Lian Li 011 Dynamic Mini. It's the Snow Edition, and as you saw in the intro, it had a bit of a weird thing going on with the front panel, kind of like an illusion, right? So behind the front glass panel, I actually have mounted a 14-inch monitor. It's a portable monitor that I have mounted right in here. Fits perfectly. I don't have it on right now for when I'm doing the setup tour, so I can show you guys, the full PC. This lets me do some cool visual tricks. What I did was actually film the internals of my PC from like a straight on shot, looking at the inside. And then when I was editing it, I added an overlay, and then I could export it, then put that onto the monitor. So it looks like, the PC is being filled with like some cool ink display, or have some cool like water effects going on. Just, gives me flexibility to add those cool visual effects, even though it's not really real. It's an illusion, but I think it definitely looks pretty cool. And again, I did a whole video on this when I did that Micro Center vlog when I built this a few months ago. So if you want, you can check that out. But just a pretty interesting look, I feel.
Kinda nice.
But yeah, the 011 Dynamic Mini Case Snow Edition from Lian Li to now complete the Mr. Freeze build, all white internals and stuff.
Yeah,
so
that is cool.
For my actual specs, we're going over it all. I have an Intel i9 11900K CPU on one of the Gigabyte Z590 Vision motherboards, one of the newer all white NZXT Kraken AIOs, with this, you can like show me my temps and stuff real
Oh,
time.
that's nice.
Put up GIFs and have graphics going on here, but the all white looks really nice on this Kraken AIO.
Yeah.
Again, it fits in with the whole theme of the build. I have 128 gigs of this T-Force Extreme RAM. Super nice, clean looking DIMMs here for the sticks. White braided cables and stuff as well. And for our GPU, it's a Gigabyte RTX 3080 Ti Vision. So again, the whole Vision white Mr. Freeze
yeah,
build,
it's so cool, especially
and
with like
one of
RGB
the,
accents.
Literal newest additions to this PC that I added like 2 days ago are these new Leon Lee Infinity fans. So as you saw when I was showing you the B-roll of like the whole sort of crazy overlay effect going on, those are the older fans I had. These now just sort of have this like infinity mirror effect going on the center of the fan, as well as like the outside. So it looks pretty cool, just extra RGB, but I typically keep it like all white or like a white and like a ice blue type of thing. Again, to fit into the Mr. Freeze build, I call it. But yeah, this upgrade here, like I said, the biggest
it's literally
upgrade
a really
for my main
cool
setup,
PC.
since this is
Get
what
it?
I've had now for the past few months, but last time you saw my old Fantex build. But yeah, that's the main PC that runs everything for the channel. One of my favorite builds so far. And then lastly, over here, again, just, you know, a nice little shelving unit that has
all
a
his
bunch
build-up
of
keyboards.
custom keyboard builds and stuff that you've seen me do on the channel. Have them nicely on display, including like a lot of the more custom, like literal custom ones with the Navel keys and RandomFrankP NK65 we did. But I also have on here with our Control T keys and RandomFrankP Deep Sea topographic keycap set.
That's
so
nice.
looking really nice on here, I think. Loving the way this came out. Again, just a nice little like shelving unit to have these keyboards on display instead of having them just like in a box somewhere. You know, you build them up, they're expensive. You want to put them on display. I can't use
they
them
look nice,
all
so
at once, right? So I wanted to have them nicely
a nice like
on a
art
shelf
piece, I would say.
with like matching cables and stuff, just to make it all aesthetically nice as a nice display piece. So that is pretty much the gist of it. That is the 2022 setup tour, going over the L-shaped studio here, from the main filming setup, the main desk setup, the minimal setup, and
how we partitioned
our
it.
entertainment center. There's some other things, you know, like this little spot where I keep all of my lenses. I have like a prop drawer and stuff, or props that you'll see when I'm doing overhead shots. Not gonna go over all of that. A little bin where I have some more product reviews and stuff coming up. I have it over here for now, just to keep it tidy and not all on the floor. Have it covered because you can't see a lot of the stuff, all under embargo. But yeah, guys, I think that about does it. I think we covered it all. Man, oh man. So
and this is main
that
shot.
was a lot, huh?
Yep.
But that'll do it for a look at my gaming setup and YouTube studio tour for 2022. Hope you enjoyed the personal behind-the-scenes look.
Definitely
at
did.
what literally powers
I like the vlog
channel.
style as well.
Like I said, I'll do my best to have everything you saw, all the gear and hardware listed for you in the description down below, so you can check it out if you're interested. But if you like this video, give it a big thumbs.
Yeah. As I said, yeah, his setup is really good, and I like, you know, how, you know, his setup is different because his setup is like a one-man sort of like, you know, like a YouTube studio that I don't think we see very often, especially for content creators of his size, you know, of like 2 million plus. You know, he does everything on his own, editing, filming, and you know whatnot, all on his own. And it's good to see, you know, how a one person, you know, YouTube studio is like, and it's like really interesting in my opinion. So what do you think about his setup? Do let me know down in the comment section below. And if you like these types of videos, you know, make sure to drop me a like to let me know. Also comment down below what other setups you'd like me to check out next, and I'll be sure to do so. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you'd like to help support me and what I do completely for free. Last but not least, you know, thank you all so much for staying tuned to the end, and I hope to see you in the next video.